President Trump smartly asked for $25 billion to build the border wall, but Congress gave him $1.6 billion, and some of it for fencing. Border Patrol agents tell us that they are livid over that, but the mainstream media is saying just the opposite. A New York Times headline yesterday declared, "What border agents say they want, it's not a wall." The Times cited a survey put out by Senate Democrats that claimed border agents really just want more technology. But the Department of Homeland Security says Democrats got it all wrong. Let's get to the bottom of this with the president of the National Border Patrol Council, Brandon Judd, and the Laredo, Texas representative of that council, Border Patrol agent Hector Garza. Gentlemen, great to see both of you. Brandon, let's start with you on this. I saw this, and I've known you guys for so long, and I've been friends with so many in the Border Patrol since 1996 when I first started in the media. When I saw this, I thought, this doesn't even pass, the straight face test in any way, shape, or form. Your reaction?
That Democratic staff report is nothing more than garbage. It makes me sick knowing that the taxpayers funded a report that is nothing more than a partisan hit piece on a president whom they hate and want to see fail. We can't allow the Democrats to lie to the American public. Senator Johnson needs to call for a hearing on this issue. It needs to go before the Senate Ethics Committee. And we've got to investigate this and get to the bottom, because I can tell you, I just finished my shift a couple hours ago patrolling the border. I speak with hundreds of agents on a daily basis, and all of those agents are telling me we need walls in strategic locations, and we're going to prove that we need those walls.
Hector, here's what the Democratic study says, okay? We have a full screen we'll put up. Border agents and sector chiefs rarely requested a wall. Only one urgent and compelling request mentioned either a wall or fencing. Most commonly identified vulnerabilities called for tech personnel. In your experience, Hector, with everything you guys are up against, does that ring true?
Not at all, Laura. I work in the Laredo sector. In the Laredo sector, we do not have a single mile of border wall or physical barrier. And the Laredo sector is next to the Rio Grande Valley sector, which is the busiest sector in the nation for drug crossings and for people that are coming across illegally. So now we've called for a wall in the Laredo sector because just in the Laredo sector, we have across the border, we have the dangerous drug cartel known as Los Zetas. They are very dangerous. They bring a lot of drugs into our country, and they also smuggle a lot of people into the United States. We definitely need a physical barrier that's going to save American lives. And
you guys, you might have heard the segment we just did on this budget that just passed. There's no money for more detention beds. There's no money for that big, beautiful concrete wall that we had heard about for so long. The president wanted $1.6 billion just for the wall. There's like $640 million for a variety of things, and maybe 33 miles, or different reports say, I think it's 33 miles for reinforced double fencing and some levee walls that are already there. But this is no new construction. So, Brandon, I'm hearing you guys are on the front line. The cartels are coming. We've got the human trafficking, people just trying to cross because they want to work here. Others, we don't know what their motives are. And we're like, well, we're going to have some sensors, and we'll have some roads, and maybe we'll have some more detention facilities.
No, the Republicans are shooting themselves in the foot. The president ran on a campaign of domestic policies that were going to secure the American interest, and one of those was the border. The Republicans aren't doing what the constituency wants them to do. And if they don't jump on board, and if they don't get behind this president, if they don't secure the border, they stand to lose huge in the midterms. We've got to have the Republicans get behind this president. We've got to get rid of the swamp, and that includes the swamp within our own agency, if we're going to expect to hold the House and the Senate in 2018.
Hector, this is what the president said today. Again, he didn't like the fact that he had to sign this, but he did go ahead and sign it. Let's listen.
We're going to be starting work literally on Monday on not only some new wall, not enough, but we're working on that very quickly, but also fixing existing walls and existing acceptable fences. There are some areas that you have to see through. You have to be able to see through the other side in order to see what's coming. And in many cases, it's not a pretty picture.
Oh, my God. Okay, number one, Hector, just explain the part that we need to have see-through wall. I mean, I understand you do need to see kind of what's happening on the other side, but I don't think there is going to be any physical wall being built because there's no money for the wall. It's all repairing the fencing that exists and the levee walls that are already there and some of them crumbling. But can you shed any light on that for me? Because I've got to frankly buy a vowel. I don't really understand it.
Well, it's just very unfortunate that we can't get a border wall, a much-needed wall that we need so that we can do our job, and that wall is going to save American lives. And it's just very unfortunate that some of these representatives are actually playing games with our jobs and with our security. We need to stop playing politics, and we need this wall. It's no secret. Our Border Patrol agents have actually reached out to President Trump through the National Border Patrol Council, and they've told him that we want a wall. President Trump has done the same thing. He's spoken to our agents directly, and the agents have told him, President Trump, we need a wall to secure the border. And that's what we need so that we can do our job and so that we can save those American lives and stop those drugs from coming across.
Brandon, I have to read for you, and you're going to love this. This is Senator Claire McCaskill. I know you guys are texting buddies. She said this, okay? She's on the Homeland Security Committee. This report reinforces what I've heard from frontline border agents and CPB leaders alike, that the top priorities for addressing vulnerabilities along our border are additional personnel and better technology. We can't let politics get in the way of our efforts to strengthen border security and protect our country. She said that also Paul Ryan has been very chipper about the idea of all these sensors and the drones and the other accoutrements that are necessary, I guess, to enforce the border. But what I understand from Israel and what I understand from you and all the years I've known you, without that barrier, it makes your life more difficult at every turn. And Hector, I assume you would agree. But Brandon, you first.
Laura, we've played that game. We've thrown all kinds of technology at drones, at sensors. It's interesting that the Democratic report quotes former Deputy Commissioner David Aguilar. David Aguilar now sits on the board of Drone Aviation Corp Industry. Obviously, he doesn't want a wall because if he gets a wall, he's not going to be selling drones. If people aren't crossing the border illegally, there's no need to buy drones. We've already done that. We don't need to do it again. We need to build the physical barriers that are necessary.
Yeah, you think about it, Hector and Brandon, you got the sensor companies, you got the drone companies. Everybody's looking for a piece of the pie, right? All the money that's going to be invested. But if it's just the wall and the extra personnel and so forth, it's a lot simpler. It's a lot simpler. Guys, God bless you for the work you do. Keep it up. And the American people, and I know so many of our viewers at Fox and on radio and beyond, they're just with you 100%. So keep up the great work.